Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. So we start with a Knight of Swords. Okay. Sometimes this is a card of very quick decisions being made. Okay, that we have a lot of decisions to make, and we're trying to make them very, very quickly. Right. This is a very decisive energy. It is a Libra power card. There could be a Libra energy in your life somewhere, but I kind of feel that this is you, like not really having a lot of time to analyze something, or to look at all the details and really split it apart and open it up. It's just kind of like you got to decide now. You know, let's put this card into some context. Let's see what's going on in your life. There's that Gemini power card. Oh gosh, look at that. The Lover's card. And the Lover's card rules the sign of Gemini, right? This is the card associated with your sign. So that is very interesting. I feel like you're having to sort of it's kind of like you're being put on the spot with something, and it's a really big decision. It's kind of like someone is proposing to you, and it's just like, what do I say? What do I do? Like, it's not something that we can say, can you give me a few days to think about it? I mean, maybe that's what we need to do here. Well, let's find out. Let's keep going. We have a Seven of Pentacles. We have the Emperor in the background. A Princess. See, now that's, okay. Princess of Pentacles. And there is the Art or Temperance card. Okay. We have a Nine of Pentacles. Very good. We have a Four of Pentacles. We have the Magician. And a Five of Pentacles. So this is a proposal of sorts. Okay, whether it's a business proposal, a romantic proposal, it's a life-changing decision that's on the table for you. You're being asked to join forces with someone or something, to agree to something. You're being offered a job. Are you going to take the job? It's a marriage proposal. You're going to take that proposal. Are you going to say yes to it? Are you going to marry yourself to this? Is this your true path? Okay. Gosh, this is really, really interesting energy. Let's select our mystery card, and then we'll get into it. All right. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is our confirmation card, our bonus card, and we're going to set it down right here with Little Belsnickel right on top. Cheer or fear, Little Belsnickel is here. We're not going to look at that card until the end, but, it'll tie everything together. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, please put a prediction, put your guess, put your hunch right down in the comments below. All right, let's take a look around here. Because we see our major, 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 and major. We don't have any fire, really. Oddly enough, we don't have any water. Oddly enough, we don't have that much air. A little bit of air here. And then we've got earth, 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 earth. It doesn't feel like it's a romantic situation or a marriage, but if it is, the concern, the biggest thing that you're looking at right now, what's kind of on your mind in this split second where you're going to make a decision here, what's on your mind is all of the physical aspects. We see the Four of Pentacles. We have concern about the living situation, the home. How are things going to go? If it is, let's say it's a marriage proposal, or maybe it's joining forces with somebody. Maybe it's just as starting to date somebody seriously. It doesn't have to be a marriage, right? We're sort of wondering, like, what potential does this thing have? If I say yes, if I commit to this thing, or this person, or this company, or this idea, or this path, if I commit to it, what kind of future does it have? What's the potential here? what is it really going to look like in the day-to-day sort of routines? Are we going to get along? Where are we going to put our toothbrushes? Who's going to sleep on what side of the bed? Like what are the practical routines and how is that going to function? Are we going to be able to get along living in that same space together or working in the same space or whatever, right? Another difficulty, I think, is communication. Okay. Do we know each other well enough that we can communicate and get along and share ideas in a way that is going to lead to harmony and success rather than leading toward discord and challenges? And, am I going to be misunderstood, or are we going to be able to develop a rapport with each other? Okay. So the Lover's card is all about the choice or choosing something. And I think and maybe a Libra energy could be, I feel like we're trying to make a decision as quickly as possible. We know that we can't wait too long, to decide. We have to kind of think about things in real time and try to make a decision quickly. It's a choice of a commitment. It's something that you are being offered, being asked to devote yourself to. Whether it's a job, a project, a company, a friend, or a lover, a marriage, whatever it is, some kind of partnership. You're being offered this chance for union. You're being presented with a new path. And you've got to decide if you're going to give it your all, if you're going to identify with it so completely that you are in it to win it. Not with one foot out the door, not half in, half out, but fully in, on board, 100% committed to this thing. Okay? And I think a big concern for you is this Seven of Pentacles underneath everything. You're kind of a pessimist right now. You're kind of feeling like, I don't see it really, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. And really, I don't want it to fail. But having the Seven of Pentacles inside, under the surface of the reading, right, down at the bottom, tells me that you have a little experience with things not working out. So maybe in terms of relationships or business deals or partnerships or collaborations, you kind of been down similar roads before and didn't really work out too well. So you're a little bit skeptical, and that's why it's kind of like you want more time to think. Okay? You're trying not to make a decision very hastily. Again, with that sort of Knight of Swords, reacting to a situation, making a decision, and making a snap judgment kind of thing, right? You want more time to think about it, but we don't have any other Swords cards here. So it's kind of like all of this perception, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing that this has potential, but I'm familiar with things not working out. This could be a really great opportunity. In theory, this would lead to a lot of success, a lot of gain. It's going to cause a lot of changes. I'm going to have to put in work to do it. I have concerns about how we're going to actually get along in this very practical, functional way. Like how, we're going to need some routines. We're going to have to get on a schedule, and we're going to have to learn each other's routines, and that way we can function in some sort of harmony. We see here that the Emperor entering into combination with this is going to be transformed through this. This is an alchemical operation. Okay, the Emperor here is sort of representing you in this very independent state. Coming into a union with this thing, person, place, or thing, is going to lead to a transformation both of you and the thing, and the creation of a third thing. Right, the creation of this life together, the creation of this business relationship, right? It's kind of like, 1 + 1 is equaling more than 2, right? So the sum is greater than the parts. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts, I guess, is how I should phrase it. So we see those major arcana energies going this way, and then we have to ask ourselves, is this really in my best interest? Is this what I want? Am I ready to enter into this alchemical combination? Because in a way, you're not going to be the same Emperor that you were yesterday, What is this union going to give birth to? That's what we have to ask ourselves up here with the Princess of Pentacles, because this is kind of like there's something there. Something's going to happen, but is it a good thing? Is what's going to be born through this decision? If I say yes, what's going to be created? Right? Is this going to transform into the Empress life? Is this going to be the absolute best thing I've ever done? Is it going to be the worst thing I've ever done, or somewhere in the middle? Right? And is it worth the risk? Okay. So something's under the surface here. We can look at this and say, there's a potential here. Yes, granted. How wonderful that potential is, and how likely it is to actually be born through this union, that's something that we don't have any certainty on. So we're sort of being asked to dive into something, and we're not concerned about the water energy. That's something that I want to point out. There's no water here at all. Right? There is no water here at all, because either this is not a romantic, love, personal thing at all. Maybe this is just all business. Right? All business, baby. Or if it is romantic or family related, we're not worried about the water. We know that there's love there. We know that there's attraction and there's all this stuff. But that's not the issue. The issue is these very practical, earthy things. Okay, so whatever dimension of life this is taking place, your concern mostly, your focus is to look at all of the practical, materialized sort of objects. Maybe really saying, look at it objectively. And say, what is the real potential here? What is the likelihood that it's going to not work out? What's the likelihood that it's going to be really, really successful, right? The Nine of Pentacles. What's the likelihood that you're going to get along in a functional way and do the routines and that sort of thing? What's the likelihood that you're going to be able to have your input and your communication, and for your will and your creative energy, your magic, to be heard and implemented, right? How much of a voice are you going to have, basically, right? And of course, how much work is it going to take? How much investment? How much change is going to have to take place in you and in your surroundings, in order to bring out the positive side of all of these things. So we're asking these questions. We're looking at these questions objectively. Okay, and like I said, the Emperor is it's sort of your independence prior to this opportunity. I think that you are. You're a very independent person. You're self-sufficient. This is someone who, let's say, you've been kind of living on your own for a long time, or you've been doing your own thing, your own creative work. You've been running your own business or whatever, and you're fine this way. It's working, right? There's no. If you're going to change this in any way, it better be for a really good reason. It better really be of benefit to you. Otherwise, why would you do it? Okay. And so I feel like this is more about business or finances or something like this, because the Emperor is saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't tinker with something that's already working fine. Why? Why would you do that? Well, because there's the potential for this to be even greater than just you alone. Okay? And sometimes we're not ready for a life partner, a soulmate kind of long-term serious relationship until we reach Emperor status, until we are so self-sufficient and confident in ourselves. We are not ready to enter into that partnership with somebody else who is presumably also very independent and self-sufficient and knows who they are and has a certain kind of power and confidence in their own development. Okay, so if anything, you're looking for an equal. Yeah. And so it really must be a very special person if you're considering to enter into some sort of partnership with them. Okay. You're not in a position right now where you're going to enter into a partnership with somebody who is not as far along as you are, because then you sort of become the mentor, and that could be kind of some of the Emperor energy too. That's just like, well, I don't want to have to take care of this person and teach them. They're not, I don't want to be like the boss and they're the employee. I don't want that relationship. You want an equal. Okay. And that's another thing that you have to look at. Is there that sort of balance here? And that's part of well, all of these cards show the balance, right? The Lover's card and the Art or Temperance card show that kind of balance. We are looking for an equal. We're not looking for a child that we have to mentor, or an employee that we're going to have to train. Okay? So I think the Seven of Pentacles is a very important card here too, because we have to look at something and say, yeah, it's got the potential for greatness, sure, but are you buying a fixer-upper? Is this a house, and it's just like, well, I don't really have the time, effort, energy, and or money to buy a fixer-upper and to restore it, or to build it up to its potential. We kind of want something that's already a little bit further along, That's why I don't think this is a romantic relationship. Because I don't know if you'd be looking at a romantic partner this way, but maybe you are. I don't know. I shouldn't say that probably, right? This could be kind of maybe you're thinking about buying something, buying a company, joining a company and saying, well, I could go work for that company, but I'm overqualified. I'm going to have to really help them to build them up to reach a certain level. Well, maybe that's what you like to do. I don't know. So we don't want to really enter into a partnership where we are the one who is massively overqualified, because then it's going to be a lot of work just to bring the other party up to snuff. And so I really feel that you're looking for something that's an equal match. You don't want to feel overqualified, right? But at the same time, you don't want to feel underqualified either. Okay. So, the Art or Temperance card in the future position, we know that whatever this is going to be, if this is a yes, if we do this, it's going to change the other and it's going to change us. I think it was Jung that said every relationship is an alchemical transformation, right? And so we're trying to ask ourselves, if I enter into combination with this other element, am I changing for the better, or am I going to change kind of for the worse, right? And now, if you're the overqualified party, well, you're going into this situation. It's like a concentration gradient if you're into physiology or science or fluid dynamics or whatever. I don't know if any of those sciences are the right science, by the way. But the idea that an area of higher concentration meeting with an area of lower concentration, there's going to be an attempt to equalize. So what is low is going to get raised up, and what's higher is going to get dropped down until there's an until there's a equilibrium, right? And so if you're massively overqualified, you're going to have to lower yourself down a little bit to raise the other element up. And I don't think you necessarily want to do that too much. A little bit is okay. It's inevitable, right? I think sometimes we want to kind of feel like if we're starting a new job or a new career, we want to aim higher, right? We want to level up. I want to be underqualified. I want to go I want to apply for the job that is way beyond my skill level. If I'm confident that I can raise myself up and not diminish the quality of the work, and not be a detriment to the company, and lower them down too much, right? And so if it's a business thing, yeah, we're kind of aiming higher. We're shooting upwards because we want to, I want to raise myself up a little bit. But if we're overqualified and the business is sort of doesn't match our skills, then we're going to be working very hard to raise that thing up, and then everybody can rise together. And so you understand what I mean with that, right? How about in terms of relationships? If we're entering into even a creative collaboration or a friendship or even a romantic situation. Now, I still don't really feel that it is a romantic thing, but I could be wrong, and I don't want to exclude that if it is how you're applying this to your life. But we are sort of asking the question, how far along do I feel in my spiritual work and my personal development? And how far along does it seem to me anyway that this other person might be, in their life? How are they kind of coming along? Are our lifestyles compatible? Because you know that whatever your life is and their life is, blending them together is going to create something else. You're not going to be the same. Are you going to be worse off or better off? Is this a partnership that's going to bring out your best qualities and help you to sort of strengthen your strengths and improve on your weaknesses? Or is this going to be a relationship that's going to sort of exacerbate your weaknesses and diminish your strengths? And it really kind of sucks to look at people that way, right? But that's what we're doing. We're not feeling. It's not just, well, I love this person, so I don't care. I don't see the water energy. This seems a very practical dialogue that you're having and you're inside of yourself, okay? And I don't want to advocate that we objectify the qualities of other people and that we look at things this way, but I feel that is exactly what's going on right now. Okay, so we'll see with the mystery card. Maybe we'll get a little bit of water that says, despite whatever the answers to these questions are, if you love it, you love it. If you are excited about this company, just do it. Even if you're overqualified, underqualified, if you love this person and you're attracted to them and you want to try it out, do it. Even if you feel as if, you're this very successful person and they're not, or opposite way around, if the love is there, is it enough, right? But let's hold off on all that sort of talk until we get to the mystery card. Maybe that won't even be water, right? And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. So your general energy is the Nine of Pentacles. This is a card of gain. What am I to gain from this situation? If I enter into this partnership, am I expanding and growing? Is this good for my path? Is this good for my personal development? Is this good for my health? Is this good for my wealth? Is this good for my creative development, my spiritual development? Like what? Right? Or is this diminishing any of those things? Okay. The pentacles usually represent health or wealth. Okay. Is this helping you to become a healthier person and more successful? Or is this something where you're going to have to sort of, dive down to the bottom a little bit further before you start coming up, right? Are you being diminished? Again, with the concentration gradient, there's going to be a level of equilibrium. Are you going to have to bring yourself down, right, in order to lift up the other, and then we rise? Or, how is that going to play out? So the Nine of Pentacles becomes like this idea of how am I going to grow in this situation? And all of this is speculative, right? We don't know. I think the mystery card might even be the Moon card. We don't know until we go. We're just speculating here. We're just asking ourselves these questions. I think in real time, I think something or someone is down on one knee in front of you and they've asked you to marry them and they maybe have a shining ring and you're just you're asking yourself all these questions. And this may take a half an hour to talk about here, but it's happening in a split second for you. Okay? Now the Four of Pentacles becomes the sort of domestic situation in the environment. What are their habits like? How do they live? What is their apartment? What does their house look like? How do they keep their car? What are their hygiene habits? What are the, what I mean? What are their just sort of basic human routines? And are you compatible with that? Right? Maybe this is, I don't know. Maybe you're thinking about getting a dog. I don't know. It sounds like it kind of. If you're thinking about getting a dog, are you going to get one that already has a lot of bad habits and you're going to have to try to train some good habits there so that you two can sort of live together? Or is this a dog that already has a lot of good habits and you find that, I kind of like the way the dog's already been raised and it seems like a good fit? Or is this just a brand new puppy? And it's like, well, do I have the time, effort, energy, and or money to develop the right habits with this new puppy and create this harmonious, lifestyle? So we're thinking kind of about the domestic situation, the practical, really the feet on the ground, the daily functioning of life. Are my habits and their habits going to enter into conflict? Or are we going to be able to get into a flow, get into a routine together? What side of the bed are we going to sleep on? And, that sort of thing, right? Do they snore? That, those kinds of questions, right? I think a really big question here is going to be with that Mercury energy, the magician, the juggler, the magus, Hermes, the trickster. It's kind of the performer. This is the one that has the voice. This is the one that really wants to, in some ways, be the center of attention. Okay? And in some ways, it could also be that, the emperor and the magician, they have a special relationship, right? Because sometimes if, let's say, the emperor is the sovereign, the magician becomes like the court astrologer, right? And in this way, like, you don't want anybody telling you what to do. You don't want anybody else kind of giving you this sort of unsolicited advice, or trying to criticize the decisions that you're making. Say, oh, well, the planets aren't aligned for you to do that. You shouldn't be doing that. You don't want to have to listen to anybody else, right? And that's part of our emperor energy. If you're in this sort of partnership, whether it's a romantic, a friendship, a business thing, you don't want to have to give somebody else space in your head, right? If you're in this partnership, well, you got to kind of listen to what the boss is telling you, what the other person's telling you, what your coworkers are telling you. They have to have input too. The emperor wants to make all the decisions. I don't want to have to listen to any advice. I don't want you to try to tell me a better way to do things. So already I see that there's a little bit of conflict here just in the communication and in a little bit of the power dynamic. Okay? But at the same time, you want to make sure that your voice is getting heard. Okay? Now, I don't know if you're the emperor or if the other person maybe you're both kind of feeling this way. It's just, I want to make sure my voice is heard. And if we're both two very loud people, right, and we're both talking at the same time, neither one of us are going to be heard. Are you too similar to this other person? Right? Are we too equally matched to where we're both going to be asserting ourselves equally and nothing will get done? So there needs to be a little bit of difference. There needs to be some sort of conflict. In a way, there needs to be enough difference that there is a possibility of harmony, right? So I think the Five of Pentacles is really an interesting card because it does show that there are changes, there are adaptations that have to be made. We have to be willing to change and to grow and to reconfigure energy and do things a little bit differently. And that's the only way that things are going to work. So it's kind of like if you're already established in your life and in your habits and in your routine and in who you are, and so is the dog, right? Let's say it's an older dog. It's already has its sort of its routines and things. Neither one of you are going to really learn and grow and change. There's going to be conflict. There's not going to be a mesh, right? So I think you have to be willing to change and adapt and grow and listen and also speak up and all these things. We need let's say the neuroplasticity. We got to be willing to put our attention on different things and try to do things a different way in order to grow and evolve. And we also need to ask, well, is the other person going to be willing to do that too? Or is it like an old dog and new tricks kind of thing? Where they're so ingrained and established in what they're doing. Maybe this is a company that's just, they've been doing the same thing for a long time and nothing's ever going to change with them. So are you okay with that? Are you okay with going and conforming to the way they're already doing things? Right? Which means that you're going to have to change even though they're not. You've got to change to fit into their box. They're not going to change to accommodate you, right? Say it's that kind of a company. If it's a relationship or something too, it's the same thing, same questions. Let's look at the mystery card. I wonder if it's going to be water energy. It's going to be water energy. It's going to be the Hierophant. Maybe some swords cards. Maybe a 6 of something. I think a 6 of swords would be pretty great. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments down below. Let's take a look. The Hanged Man. The last and final question. What are you willing to sacrifice for this opportunity? You've gone through all of these things, right? But it's kind of like, if you really love it, if you really want it, if it's a real desire, if you're inspired to this, what are you willing to sacrifice? Which one of these questions are you willing to say, I don't care. That's fine, whatever. You know, what are you willing to sacrifice to make this work? That's the ultimate question, right? Very interesting. I was not expecting that, but it makes sense. What are we willing to give up? What are we willing to sacrifice? Which one of these can we say, fine, I'll compromise that? Some of these are essentials. Some of these are non-negotiables. But which one is going to be okay for you to sacrifice? Mainly, which one of these, right? I don't mind losing a little bit of independence, or I don't mind adapting to the other person. I don't mind if there's just some conflict or some issues with the practical sort of the logistics of our daily routine. We'll figure that out. So we have to ask what we're willing to sacrifice. And also, the Hanged Man is a lot of water energy. It's sort of a card of pure water. So really, it's saying, if we love this person, place, or thing, do we love it enough that we're willing to sacrifice any or all of this? Or are we going to sacrifice the love itself because we can't compromise on any of these other things? Yeah. Very interesting reading. We're going to do an extended reading. We'll do a hexagram from the Jing. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Gemini Monday and Friday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.